In this video, I'm going to show you a few creative ideas for photographers to take portraits without a studio. Hey, I'm Sarah Petty. I am a photographer and founder of one of the most profitable photography studios in the United States. And it's my passion to help photographers build a business that makes them money but also allows them to put their family first. You shouldn't have to pick. Here's the thing about a photography studio, because I know so many people are like, I'm gonna price myself really low until I get a studio and then I'm gonna charge what I need. And that is such a broken thought process. Here's the thing, you do not need a studio to build your business. In fact, you need to build your business first if you do want a studio. And let me explain, okay? Stick with me because this is super, super important. Most people think, oh, I'm gonna charge really low prices until I get a studio. And once I have a studio, I can really charge high prices. And it doesn't work that way. I'm gonna talk you through what it really looks like to have a studio, the advantages of not having a studio, and the disadvantages of not having a studio. So let's start there. First, the advantages, I'm just gonna read off a couple of them. No property tax, no mortgage, no electric bill, all the things that are associated with a physical studio. And I don't mean in your home, I mean a physical retail space, whether you're renting, building, buying, owning, whatever it is, you likely will still have all of those expenses. And that adds up. That does take away from your profit. So that's kind of the advantage of not having it. You can use your extra profit to invest in education, to invest in marketing. A studio is not a marketing activity. It's not going to bring you clients. It's an expense. You have to know how to get the clients first. The disadvantages of not having a studio, well, for one, the weather, of course. If you have bad weather, you often can't photograph outside. I'm in Illinois, right in the middle, and we have pretty brutal winters. I wouldn't say brutal. We have rough winters, and I can't photograph outside for a couple months. And so that's what motivated me to want a studio so that I could be photographing all year long. But I have some alternatives for you, so stick with me here. Another disadvantage of not having a studio is you've got to find places to photograph, right? You've got to be able to work with different lighting situations. You've got to be a little more trained of a photographer to be able to find the right lighting locations and be able to work in lower light and higher light versus in a studio, you control everything. But that's okay. The sun is free. Just use it. And I think also the disadvantage of not having a studio is the perceived lower value when you compare yourself to a studio photographer. You think, oh, I'm not worth as much. Maybe your clients will perceive that, but that's okay. Like I said, if you learn how to market and work with clients, it doesn't matter if you have a studio or not. I want to give you a few creative ideas of how you can have a short-term or temporary or makeshift studio and be able to offer that opportunity without committing to, I'm going to build this giant building or I'm going to sign for a 3-year lease. Please don't do that. All right, I'm going to give you 8 of these. So you might want to grab a pen, right? Number 1, look into what we call sort of a pop-up studio. This would be a short-term lease of like 30, 60, 90 days in a building that's sitting abandoned. A lot of times developers are developing like a little mall or an area where they have a bunch of remnant space and they might like to have a little bit of cash flow and people going in and out of this space. So sometimes you can negotiate it of, hey, I'm just gonna come in, use what's there, I'm not gonna make a lot of changes, and I'm gonna just use it during the winter months or the holiday season or the week or the weekend and see how you like it. You could even consider trading with them for that space. So you're not even paying for it. If they're a builder or a developer, you could do maybe photos of their buildings so that they're getting something of value that they would pay for and you're getting to use their space. Pretty cool, huh? The other thing about this that's kind of cool is it creates urgency and scarcity. Like, I'm only here for a little bit and I've built a set, for example, or you have Santa coming in and you're doing beautiful Santa portraits instead of mall Santa portraits. Like, this is your chance because I'm only here for the month. And so it gets people moving, which is so cool. Second, you can tap into a hotel room or an Airbnb. Sometimes Airbnbs have some really cool atmosphere and a good mojo to them. So you could photograph there. You get different images every time, which is kind of neat. And you don't have the cleanup, right? You just take your stuff and you split. You leave it a mess if you want to. You don't have to clean it up as if it were in your own home or in your own studio, which is kind of nice. Number 3, use a hotel lobby. For years, we had a favorite hotel lobby that was all natural light and it was retro and it had graphic wallpaper and carpets on the floor, and it was really, really cool to photograph there. And the gal at the front desk loved it when we came in and visited with us. And then they did a remodel and we couldn't use it anymore. But big, gorgeous hotels have really great light, a lot of interesting backgrounds and textures and chairs and things. I would recommend checking with them first. If you know you're just gonna do something quick and you know there's natural light, you could potentially pop in and do it. But if you're gonna be doing it regularly, build a relationship with them and maybe they'll even send you referrals. That could be really cool. Number 4, never miss historic landmarks that are indoor. For example, we have this really cool train station in my city that's open air with this awning and beautiful columns, so beautiful to photograph at. Why not use that? You can use shallow depth of field to change up what the background looks like and make it more interesting. So use what you have in your city. So you just use different landmarks. Number 5, and you're actually gonna really like this, convert your garage into a studio. I have so many students in my coaching program doing this. And you can literally get a background stand on Amazon and tape up backgrounds or clip them on there, or you could even duct tape them to the back wall. Use the natural light coming in. You could throw the background out of focus if you want. If you don't have a background, use the beautiful light coming in and have beautiful images in your garage. Believe it or not, in your garage. Number 6, look for studio space at an art collective. A lot of cities are doing this where a bunch of artists and/or photographers are getting together and sharing spaces. That could be really neat, and you could build some cool relationships with other creative people in your city. So look into that, and if there isn't one, start one. Why not? Number 7, so huge. Take your clients' portraits in their home, in their own home. Use natural light. And what's neat about this is you're now incorporating things that are meaningful to them. The chair that was passed down from grandma, or something in the baby's room that's too big to bring somewhere else, but that the baby loves, a little rocking horse or whatever it is. And what's cool is you're photographing different things every time, so you don't have to stockpile props. You just use what's at the client's home. Their furniture, their pillows, usually they're more beautiful than what you could afford to stock because you're moving from client to client to client. So you get unique images for your website and for your marketing. So it looks like you have this vast collection of cool things when they're really your clients. And 8, and a lot of photographers do this, set up a little mini studio in your home. It's how I started. I bought an inexpensive little light kit pre-internet and I put it in my basement with low ceilings. It was terrible. But I have students dedicating rooms. You know, they move all the furniture to the side of the room, they do their session and they move it back. Why not? It doesn't matter. It's fun. You love it. Set up your lights and tear the lights down. You're actually using your house that way. So use your house, use your furniture for props. And then you don't have the expense of a studio, but it kind of looks like you have a studio, which is cool. I hope you found at least one of these 8 tips helpful. If you want to find out more about our services and how we can help you, click the link below. And don't forget to subscribe.